Be warned, the following review may contain spoilers, bad haircut, even worse fashion sense, and a backdrop that's absolutely inexcusable. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Horror Snob. My name's Michael James, I am the Horror Snob, and this is what happens when leeches have explosive diarrhea. Today, talking book versus box office, and our subject matter of choice, Bird Box. A book written by Josh Malerman, published in 2014, turned movie by Netflix in 2018. An original of theirs available on their streaming platform. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, as always, I ask you take a moment, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it. Stay up to date with all other reviews like this that I'll be pumping out. As for the Bird Box, we follow Malorie, a young woman running for her life in the onset of the apocalypse. Now, this isn't put forth by volcanoes, the earth isn't splitting in half, we haven't been bombing each other, it's an alien type situation, or at least we think it is. Never quite fully confirmed on that. Not in either the book or the movie. What we do know is that these creatures, these aliens, when you look at them, they mess with the wiring in your brain and you commit suicide. Great way to go, right? Just step in front of a bus. Boom. Game over. And so the instant reaction is to blind yourself. I'm not talking about stabbing out your eyes, but, some sort of blindfold, some sort of covering. Malorie, running for her life, trying to survive in this house amongst other survivors, it sets everything else off. It's why they're together. It's why they have to stay together. And it's why all the things they choose to do, how they work together, how they react, how they manipulate what used to be common life and adjust it to what they need to be able to do now. They need water. How are they going to get it? Where are they going to get it? They need supplies. They need food. Are you even going to leave the house? Can you survive on what's already there? And for how long? Does this thing last a week, a month, a year, or several years? And if it's forever, you got a lot of questions to answer. This book, this story plays through all of that. Developing the characters, each their individual characteristics, for lack of a better term, how some of them merge and how some of them clash. It's the development of the story. And so many minute, so many finite details are important to the long term of the story, how it builds and develops, and to the characters themselves. The book does a phenomenal job of laying all this out, developing these characters, developing this story, and involving you into it, submersing you into this world that Josh Malerman has developed. It is a phenomenal book, a great book, definitely worth a read. If there is any small part that I would argue against, it is in the physical layout of the book. Rather than it just being a straight linear story, it bounces back and forth from present day to past. Past being the moment this whole thing started, moving forward, and present being quite a while afterward and moving forward. Now, there are stories, there are books, there are movies that have done phenomenal at things like this. Memento is one that comes to mind that did a beautiful job in this. An excellent movie if you have never seen it. Bird Box strived for that similar type thing, but in the end, this could have very easily been a linear story going from beginning to end and would have made as much sense, if not more, than the way it's currently laid out. As for the movie, took the one thing that it should have left alone, that it should have not done, which is that bouncing back and forth between past and present, and highlighted it in a major way, but for no payout whatsoever. The climactic moment, that is the reason, the one justification you can see, is so that you can get to the climactic moment, and it's still at the back end of the story and the back end of the book. The movie put that climactic moment about an hour and a half in. Makes sense if the movie's an hour and a half, but it's not. It's 2 hours long. So you have a half hour of resolution past the climax, a lot of it strung out and added moments that did not occur in the original book, in the original story. Moments with characters that weren't involved at that point, that are gone or just simply didn't exist at all. It was a massive change to the end of the story, which was done very well in the book. And now what you have is something that almost reminds me of Lord of the Rings. Right? The third movie, you get up, you have your climactic moment at the end, the ring goes into the volcano, it's done, Sauron's dead, and then you got about 45 minutes of resolution. But think about that a moment. That was 45 minutes of resolution, not after the 2.5 hours prior to that in that movie. It was 45 minutes of resolution after about 9 hours of movies going all the way back to the first of the trilogy, which was The Fellowship of the Ring. Here in Bird Box, an hour and a half in, you've got 3/4 of the movie done. You have your climactic part. Still 25% of this movie's got to go. It doesn't make sense. It is, at that point, then becomes anticlimactic. And the climax in the movie was really dulled down. Really deteriorated from what it was in the book. In the book, it takes place in this very hard, very grimy, very dirty situation. You can't see things, you can't hear things. There's a lot of assumption. It's just enough to heighten your senses, get you sweating, get you involved, and it is big and it pays off and pays off well. In the movie, you see everything. It's laid out. It is subdued. It does not pay off at all. Not in the same way. A solid group of actors in this film, from Sandra Bullock to John Malkovich, do a decent job. The script they were given is hardly the book that it was based off of. At most, you get a couple character names that stayed the same, like Malorie, like Tom, Gary, a little bit of their backstory, only a few things that play out in that house, but all of it is so rushed. All of it is so rushed, it doesn't make sense. And why is it so rushed? So much of what was in the book was left out. In this movie, not an hour and a half, but 2 hours long, it's still rushed, taking away the character development that was so critical, so beautiful in the book, that it really just destroys the movie. Ultimately, too many changes. Too many things from the book to the movie, things that worked in the book, things that made the book so successful, so strong, so well written, so well developed, either got left on the cutting board or changed altogether in the movie, and it really destroyed the movie. Between book or movie, talking Bird Box, I have to, by far and away, give the win to the book. The book is a solid B+ for me. Again, not caring for the back and forth past and present. I don't think that was needed. But otherwise, the development, the story, the characters, the plot, it all works, and it's a solid read. The movie, you're a person who likes to read, go get the book, go read the book, forget the movie. Be happy with the experience you have there, and when you're done, go out and get the sequel, which is recently released. I'm looking forward to it. Haven't gotten my hands on it yet. But if it's anything like Bird Box, it should be another solid, another excellent read. If they make a movie out of it, I'm already taking my stance to just say no. Alright, that's it for me today. Again, take a moment, hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it. My name is Michael James. I am the Horror Snob. I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.